Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. This week we'll be starting work on a sizable accessory for the Grand Hauler. Since the truck's at the point where we really need to load it up so we can set up the ESC, and we need to be able to see the whole rig to work out some of the wiring, we might as well make a start. So here we have the Hercules Hobbies Reefer trailer. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's very close to being a Tamiya clone, just with a few little changes. They do the Mercedes tractor unit too, which appears to be all but the same as the Tamiya as well. The fun bit though, the pictures on the side of the box isn't what we've actually got. On the other side we've got a far more familiar looking image, with the box and the long wheel arch covering all three wheels. I've not seen the other one listed for sale anywhere. It might have been fun to build just to be a little bit different. Enough of the outside of the box though, what we really want to see is what's inside. It doesn't have the presentation of a Tamiya kit, but it's still well packed. There's very little chance of anything getting damaged in transit, as there's very little room for movement. First out is the manual. It appears to be Hercules' own work. It does share the Tamiya style though, with the actual size parts on the left and the nice diagrams. We've got a near copy of the Tamiya Deckle Sheet, only I'd imagine with no hint of Tamiya left. Now, I think we're going to have to be a bit more strategic about unpacking this, or it's not going to fit. I reckon having the box beside me and bringing out one bag at a time might just do the trick. Here we go then. First out is the Aluminium Floor. It looks like it's stamped out with the classic rounded edges on one side and slightly rough ones on the other, but that's okay, it means all the holes should line up nicely. Next we've got the plastic sheets. These have been CNC'd, which is a little worrying as some very low-cost manufacturers don't look after their machines as well as they should, and the precision and accuracy ends up a little bit off. But that's why we've got the kit, to see how Hercules do. By eye, they do look rather good though. Here's the aluminium angle stock for the box frame. It feels very light and thin, almost brittle, but that's not really a problem. As long as all the holes are in the right place, they'll work great. The aluminium chassis rails feel a bit nicer, no sharp bits, and all the holes have been finished before the black coating. Very nice. The first of the plastic bits, these will have all the brackets for the box. Hercules have marked all the bags with letters, but they've not marked the sprues themselves. It would have been nice to have a little Y moulded in somewhere. The individual parts are all numbered though, so it could be worse. The L parts, these will be the fridge units, vents and bits. A nice big bit of plastic mesh to go in the vents. B parts, looks like we've got some retractable legs and axle cases. The A parts, where we've got some more axle cases and some cross members. Q parts, which must be for the box under the chassis. There's some big moulded bits in there. This one's unmarked, which will make it that bit more fun to find all the parts. Looks like we've got a lot of spacers and some little brackets. F parts next. This time we've got more axle bits, which interestingly have steering. We might have to fit a servo for it at some point, would be rude not to. P parts, which look a lot like the wheel arches. The C parts, most of the bits for the mechanical retract mechanism for the legs. A couple of bits of plastic sheet for the tops of the wheel arches, and lots of metal brackets for the axle mounts. All the metal bits are stamped again, but they look just fine. Another Q parts. The wheels, we've got a pair that have bearings in the wheels and 4 that have hexes. X parts, actually 2 of them in one bag. Looks like we've got some more bits for the box and parts for the spare tyre rack. H parts, we've got the main bit of the fridge and the rear bumper parts. I must say the quality of the moulding does look rather good. The grooves in the panel all have nice sharp edges. Here's the first bit of the metal parts. There's lots of little bags in there with stickers on, so I guess the builder will call them up one at a time. Here's another bag of metal bits, and yes, the stickers have numbers on. That could make the build quite a bit smoother. Also, I see some proper bearings. Very nice. There's some more aluminium angle. These will be the short bits for the end panels. D parts, which look a lot like cross members. They do look nice and chunky with lots of mounting points. A set of tyres. They're pretty stiff, but I'm sure they'll do the job. There is, however, only 6 of them, so we'll have to source a couple more for the spare tyre rack. S parts, a set of red, clear and amber lenses. A roll of possibly questionable double-sided tape. It might be alright, but it's definitely no 3M. One of the Deckle Sheets, and this one's ever so slightly damaged, and because of the way it's been stored, the backing's coming away a bit, but unless you really want the Polar Bear Express livery, it doesn't really matter too much. On the other Deckle Sheet, there's a couple of decals we might use, like the control panel for the fridge. The quality's rather good though, there's no alignment problem with the colours, it's not been kiss cut, so we have to cut them all out by hand, but that's a good thing, it's one less to go wrong at manufacture. And lastly, we have the manual. We already had a quick peek, and it does look good, but on closer inspection I noticed something. A couple of the steps have been revised with stickers, you can see where the washers have been added. That's one job I don't think I'd fancy, sitting there with a huge stack of manuals that need changing. No. There we are then, one Hercules Hobbies Reefer all spread out. I reckon there must be nearly as many parts as a Grand Hauler. It should be a fun build, we'll see how good the manual is and how well all the plastic parts fit. On other Hercules Hobbies trailer builds, I've seen some people having trouble with the leg retract mechanism, mostly due to the bits being a bit of a tight fit. Right then, next time we'll get started with the build, and as usual start off with a more or less stock build, with the mods and all the funky stuff coming later. So until then, thanks for watching, like if you liked, comment if you're feeling chatty, and if you want to see more, by all means subscribe. Bye guys!